obviously the game was a new experience. The way the rain came down and going in and out of the locker room 3 times in the first quarter. But when I watched the video, I saw a lot of good things. I saw improvement. Our special teams played really well. Besides Rajay doing a great job on his returns, and it was fun to see him do that. He had some really good blocks and some really good hold-ups, and you saw guys on that team really working extremely hard to give him some room to make the plays. We had a couple that hit the ground, so we ended up putting 2 returners back there because the ball kept rolling when it hit the ground, but we had a huge advantage on special teams with what we did returning punts and what Mason did punting the ball, so that was great to see. I think Mason had a 44-yard average and no return yards at all against us, so it was a huge advantage there. Our kickoff cover team did a great job. Guys ran with a lot of energy and showed a lot of speed on it and very physical. I like that group. They take a lot of pride in it. They kind of kicked away from Hassan on our kickoff, so we weren't able to get the return that we had there. And we got to be able to swing it and make it go the other way, so we got to work on that this week. But I thought special teams gave us a huge advantage. As far as the defense went, I still like the way they're playing, the attitude, the speed, how hard they're playing. We've got to learn the game better. We're still making some mistakes on where we're supposed to fit, what runs are coming at us. So we're still in the process of learning with a bunch of young guys, but they're working extremely hard at it. And when you look at losing Jonathan, I really thought we had great production from the guys that stepped in. Tavarius Peterson had a really good game, his best game that he's had since he's been here. Derek Dorsey did a good job again. And Jarrett Jackson had a really good game. He had one of the highest production games on the defensive front. Caused a fumble, got a sack. I think he had 3 tackles, and did a really nice job of playing with his hands and shedding and making tackles. It was great to see that show up on video. He's a very talented young guy that I think will help us as the year goes on, so I was excited about that. Rajay did a good job on defense too. Besides playing on punt returning, he played both nickel and corner. Had a lot of factor points. I thought played really physical at the nickel spot, which was really good to see. That helps us a lot. As far as the offense goes, I was really happy with our offensive line, and I thought those guys at halftime and on the sideline did a great job of leading. Did a great job of getting us energy and momentum, particularly when Malik came in. I watched them all kind of go over there, a couple of them individually at a time, and then a couple guys together, pat them on the helmet, and that was something I really liked to see. But I liked even better when they went out there and blocked, and did a better job of blocking for him. I thought Jeremy Smith did a nice job, really gave us some physical, hard running, broke tackles. I was impressed with him. And then Colin hit a couple big runs there at the end. But it was a weird game. I'll just say that. To the different circumstances with the weather and field position and rain. I thought it played to the disadvantage of Puma. And he had a couple of bad breaks. First, 3rd down, we had the ball right in the receiver's hands and we drop it. But when I watched Puma come out from halftime, and I saw him limping, and I watched him do his drops, and he wasn't doing very good on his drops. I sent our trainer over there to talk to him. I said, hey, go find out what's the matter with him. And he went over there, and Juwan said, no, I'm fine, nothing's wrong with me. So he wouldn't tell him anything, but I knew there was something wrong with him. And I was wondering, should I give him a shot in the second half or not? And I decided to, because I have confidence in him. I believe in him. I think he's going to be a really good player for us. But then when he came out and we weren't able to move the ball, I just thought that it was time to make a move. And I was happy with the way Malik came in and played. But, we'll see how it all plays out. It was good to see Malik have success. But I believe in Puma. I believe he's a really good football player and a good quarterback, so we'll just keep working forward at it. So with that, I'll just open up for questions.
What's your mindset going into this week about the two quarterbacks? I mean, are you just going to let them battle it out, or are you going to make up your mind?
No, I think, the first thing is to see how they come out and what kind of health that we have, how is Juwan, how is his physical health, and, turf toe is not something that's easy to, just get over right away. It is very painful, and it's in his big toe, and the joint in his big toe, and although it's not a serious injury, it's one that can bother you, especially as a quarterback. So we just got to see how he is and where he's at, and then Malik's just got to keep getting better, keep working at it, keep getting better.
Were you confident going into the game? Of course, you didn't know if you were going to have to use him, but up to that point that he had reached the point where you could really, you felt confident with him and Malik, I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah. I thought he had a really good, going all the way back to spring ball, I thought he had a really good spring game. One of the things that with a guy like Lamar Jackson, Malik Cunningham, Stephon LaFleur, is you don't know how good they are until it's live. You do all your drill work, you do all your throws, you do all the plays, but until it's live and you have to actually tackle them, you might not know how good they are. Stephon, I used to have, he threw the ball on the ground and, get upset about it, but when it was game time, he was either going to complete the pass or run and get a whole bunch of yards. So in spring, we had a couple scrimmages that were live when Malik ran across the line of scrimmage. And then he, excelled. He showed the different player that he really is when it's live tackle. When we came back in the fall, I couldn't get myself to make it that way. If he gets hurt in a live tackle and fall ball, we have no time to get, him ready or anybody else ready, so it was like I just couldn't do it. So, you just don't know as a quarterback until it's live that's a, guy with that type of skill to be able to run.
Bobby, you also had to use Jordan there for a couple of plays. Just talk about how he reacted in a situation like that where he'd been sitting around and came out and actually threw a pretty good ball, it seemed.
Yeah, I was wishing they'd catch it, I think Jordan's going to be a really, really good player. He's probably got the stronger arm than any of them. Can really snap his wrists and get good velocity on the ball, throw it really deep, has really good instincts. Some things that we've seen from Lamar when he first got here, of being able to see things and quickly get the ball out. That's shown up a lot in practice. We give him a lot of reps. And, it's all new to him. And you get some of these guys like him and that in high school were all no huddle. Didn't have to call a huddle, didn't have to put anybody in motion. It takes a little bit of time to get over that, the stress of that. It stresses them out. So we try to do it more and more each practice, and like last night we practiced for a long time with the young guys, and you try to get that so he gets used to doing it, but he can really wing it. He can really throw the ball. I don't know if I should use, those 4 games, one of the 4 games on that or not, but I decided to.
How much can you coach? How much is it natural ability? I mean, a couple times Malik had a free rusher coming right at him. He's still, able to avoid it and make a positive play out of it.
Yeah, he couldn't do that at all until he got here. All coaching. He's just a great athlete, He's just a tremendous athlete. Good instincts, feels it, can feel it sometimes. And but we just, you coach the technique and you coach the reads and, the progressions, understanding protections. But they have to have instincts. Each quarterback has to have instincts, and some of them have the instinct to be able to make a guy miss and run, and some have the instinct to shuffle in the pocket and make the pass. They all have their special talent.
What percentage of Puma's struggles Saturday were weather related, do you think?
I don't know. I'm not big on percentages, but it was hard on there. It was. I haven't been in rain like that, coming down like that. So, look back on it, I probably should have just handed the ball off. And that's hard to do. You start the game and all of a sudden it's a downpour and our first play is a pass play. So you try to go ahead and run the game plan, make sure the players have confidence in it, but it probably was a bad call by me.
The quarterbacks are healthy. Do you have a position on the idea of using two guys in tandem, or would you prefer to just go with one all the time?
Yeah, going into the season, it was my idea that we'd have one, and he's the starter, and we go play. We have used two quarterbacks here before. When Stephon was a senior, felt like Brian was going to be the future. We were really looking forward, so we brought him in the second quarter, and he played the second quarter, did a good job, prepared him well. It was hard to defend us because it was like two different offenses. It was hard on Stephon. I think he did a good job of really focusing on the team and doing that, but it's really the only time I've played two quarterbacks. I'm not totally against it, but I think we need to get him healthy and see where we're at.
Dorian left the game. What's his status?
Yeah, actually has good news on Dorian when he left the game because we weren't really sure. They went and x-rayed, and he does nothing broken. He's got an ankle sprain. I'm not sure exactly where he'll be for this Saturday's game, but we're working to get him prepared for it and prepared to practice Tuesday or Wednesday. But it was good news. There's no question about that.
You touched on the new redshirt rule a minute ago. Does that make your decisions easier, or does it add another layer that makes them more difficult on when and how much to play players?
Yeah, I think it's easier to put a guy in there and go knowing that, okay, I still have 3 more games, to do it. And, this was a game where we really wanted to have the sun out, be shining, come out and play well, get a lead, and then get experience for guys. We had some guys that we planned on playing to use one of their 4 games that we weren't able to get into the game because they just never, got in a situation where there was enough time to put them in and make it worth doing. So we had to change a little bit, as we were sitting in here with it raining outside. Yeah.
What went into the offensive line shakeup before the game and then also during the game? You started Sheeler and then moved Lucas out to tackle during the game.
No, that's how we started. Yeah, we started with Lucas at one tackle and Mackay at the other, and then we put Cole at a guard and Linwood at a guard, and then started Sheeler at center. It's something I've been thinking and considering for a couple weeks now, and I wanted to see us practice that way. I like the way we practice that way. The first year we were here, we put Jamon Brown and Big John together on the same side, thinking that we'd be real powerful, but we needed to have Jamon at the other tackle spot. And I wanted to see how Mackay would play out there on the open end all by himself, and he did a really good job. And we had power blocking. Looking back on Lucas's career, the number of wins we've had with him starting at tackle has been very good. So I'm trying to make sure we get the best combination together, and felt like this was the time, this last week in practice was the time to really look at it and go. Kenny rotated in there all week at practice, so actually Cole went back and forth from center to guard. But I like the way it worked out.
Jonathan Grenard, do you expect him to play this season? Do you have any more on him?
I don't have anything more on him. I know it's an extended period of time, but I don't know the exact number.
It's not certain that he's out for the season, though.
Not that I'm aware of, no.
And then in the running game, you tried a lot of running backs again Saturday. What have you talked about being the keys to getting one guy to be the consistent guy? Yeah,
I thought that, Jeremy did a really good job. I know Jeremy can play and play really well. He's done that for us. He's led us to victories. He's got to get in shape. That was a big thing for him. He's been here for just a couple weeks, and he's worked really hard at it. Like last Sunday when we were off, he came in, got his own work. I would bet he came in today and got some conditioning work in, all on his own when players have their day off, because he's trying to get back to where he can carry the ball, 5, 6, 7, 8 times in a row. Trey Smith was out. He wasn't able to get into the game. He did practice a little bit late on Thursday. we made the decision not to put him out there. I like Colin, had a good week of practice, his best week of practice. He did a good job when he got his attempts in the game. And then I still like getting those young guys out there and trying to change the speed. And I thought, Hassan's done a nice job, and I think he'll continue to get work.
If you need to go to Malik again on Saturday and going forward, how confident are you in his arm? Because I mean, he has the running ability. You guys have worked on his throwing ability in going forward the rest of the season.
Yeah, he can throw it. He can make the throws you need to make. No question.
Do you have a final decision on Chris Kalakis?
He's still under the same suspension.
Coach, when you talked about Jeremy the other day before the game, you talked about him, kind of coming out of retirement. It is a neat kind of story. How did it come about to where he is back with you? And obviously he's not in shape like you said, but I mean he was going to be your starter last year before he got hurt, correct?
Yeah, no doubt about it. And I think there's some influence from family members and stuff that thought he would be able to go play somewhere close to home and get scholarship, and maybe didn't really understand the situation that some schools take a graduate transfer for. So he ended up where I was trying to check on him all the time too. I was trying to ask Colby, what have you heard from Jeremy? Have you heard anything? With the thought in my mind, because we did have Lamar Atkins come back. He thought he was going to go somewhere and play, and he ended up with nowhere to go. So he came back and did a really nice job for us as his senior year. So Jeremy called and said, "Hey, things didn't work out the way I thought they were going to work out," and it gives him an opportunity to play another year, an opportunity maybe to play from after this year too. So it worked out great.
You were talking earlier about some players you can't judge until you see them live. Did anything you see Saturday night change your opinion of Malik and his potential and how close he might be to competing for the Sunday?
I've always had a really high opinion of him. I've always, since the day he got here, even recruiting, when we were recruiting Malik, the thing I liked best about him was that he played quarterback his entire life. He has the instincts and the knowledge on making throws and moving in the pocket. Watched all his high school tape. We have an old receiver that was at his high school, Damian Dorsey. So I was down there and spent a lot of time down there. The head coaches they ran a great offense, and you could see his instincts and the way he could make the throws and his knowledge. And then when it wasn't there, his speed. So I've always had a really high opinion of him, and I thought he played really well the other night. He's a very competitive young man that is very confident, and when we were recruiting him, one of the major things to his dad was that he was going to be a quarterback, because there was a lot of other places like Lamar that they were recruiting him. I know one school wanted him to play corner, had a scholarship for him if he would be a corner, but he wanted to be a quarterback, and he'd been a quarterback his entire life.
Bobby, you said Lucas was a little miffed that it was Mackay that got the carry at the goal line. Is that an ongoing competition?
Yeah, I don't know. In spring we had this goal line tackle drill one day, and right at the end of it, I decided to call Mackay's name out. He ran right in the end zone. So Lucas really hadn't had his tryout yet. But yeah, I heard during the week that he was pouting a little bit because he wanted to carry the ball and get it in the end zone. So, but it was fun. You used to like doing that. It's fun in practice because when you call that personnel out in practice, everybody starts smiling and gets some energy, and it's just something that's good for the team.
When will you decide who you're going with the quarterback? Middle of the week, or after you see if Jawan's healthy?
Yeah, I gotta call Saban and see how he figured it out. Yeah. I mean, I just really want to see him come out and practice and see how he's moving around and going. So once I see that and see how we're doing, then I'll have a good idea. So, all right. Thank you.